It is 2 in the morning. Your body is heavy, sinking into the mattress, begging for rest. But your mind is spinning furiously. You are calculating every possible outcome. You are replaying conversations. You are planning your next move. You are trying to figure out how to fix a situation that is already broken. You are trying to force a door open that has clearly been locked from the other side. Think about the relationship you are trying to save by sheer willpower. Think about the career goal you are gripping so tightly that your hands are bleeding. Think about the timeline you have imposed on your own life. You feel like you are swimming upstream in a raging river. You are kicking, you are fighting the current, you are swallowing water, and you are drowning. This is core wisdom. If you know the quiet desperation of trying to control the uncontrollable, you are in the right place. Subscribe. We build the fortress together. The next morning, the alarm rings. You wake up and you try harder. You push. You force. You manipulate the pieces of your life, trying to make them fit into the picture you painted in your head, because this is what you were taught to do. Society has handed you a very specific, very dangerous blueprint for existence. They told you that if you just work hard enough, you can dictate the outcome of any situation. They told you to never give up, to hustle, to grind, to force your will upon the world until the world surrenders to your demands. So you became a master of forcing things. You force conversations that should have ended hours ago. You force connections with people who do not actually value your presence. You force yourself into rooms where you do not belong. You force apologies that are not sincere. You treat your own life like a broken machine that just needs to be hit harder with a hammer to work properly. But look at the results. Look at the absolute wreckage of your peace of mind. You think your anxiety is a flaw in your chemistry. You think your exhaustion is just a lack of sleep. It is not. Your anxiety is the physical weight of trying to play God in your own life. You are carrying the unbearable burden of trying to control things that were never yours to control. Be honest with yourself right now. Look at the things you are trying to force. Every time you try to force a person to love you, you push them further away. The desperation in your grip is exactly what makes them want to escape. Every time you obsessively micromanage a project, you choke the life out of it. The harder you grip the sand, the faster it slips through your fingers. You force because you are terrified. You are terrified of the unknown. You believe that if you let go of the steering wheel for even 1 second, your entire life will crash into a wall. So you tighten your grip. Your knuckles are white. Your jaw is clenched. Your shoulders are permanently tight. You are living in a state of constant, exhausting resistance. But it gets worse, because the very act of forcing something is what guarantees its destruction. When you desperately try to control a partner, your suspicion creates the exact suffocating environment that drives them away. When you desperately force a timeline on your success, the panic of falling behind makes you blind to the actual opportunities in front of you. You become the architect of your own failure. You are standing in your own way, completely blind to the fact that you are the obstacle. Imagine you are standing in the middle of a powerful, rushing river. You have decided to be the rock. You plant your feet. You tense every muscle in your body. You brace yourself against the rushing water. You want the river to stop. You want it to flow exactly how you dictate. You think this is strength. You think standing firm against the current makes you powerful. But the water never stops. It crashes against you, day after day, year after year. The friction is constant. The cold is relentless. It wears you down. It erodes your spirit. The rock does not defeat the river. The rock is slowly, inevitably destroyed by it. You are the rock, and you are breaking. You are living in a state of permanent friction, and you know, deep in your bones, that you cannot sustain this. You cannot spend the rest of your life fighting the current. But what if the answer is not to swim harder? What if everything you have been taught about effort, about control, and about power is entirely backward? What if the cure to your exhaustion is not more discipline, but absolute surrender? 2,500 years ago, long before the modern obsession with hustle culture, the sages of the East observed this exact human tragedy. They watched emperors try to force their empires. They watched ordinary men destroy themselves trying to control their fate. And they discovered a profound psychological truth. They realized that the highest form of power does not look like effort. The ancients had a word for this. They wrote it down in a text called the Tao Te Ching. They called it Wu Wei. Wu Wei is often translated into English as non-action or effortless action. But this translation is a trap. When the modern Western mind hears non-action, it immediately assumes laziness. It thinks of giving up. It pictures a person sitting on a couch, doing nothing, letting life run them over. It sounds like a philosophy for losers. That is not Wu Wei. That is despair. Wu Wei is the exact opposite of giving up. It is the highest form of strategic intelligence. It is the art of knowing when to act, and more importantly, knowing when to stop acting. Lao Tzu, the ancient sage who authored the Tao Te Ching, looked deeply at the natural world. He noticed that nature never hurries, yet everything is accomplished. A tree does not force itself to grow. It does not stress about reaching the sun. It simply absorbs the light, takes in the rain, and grows at its own perfect pace. But Lao Tzu's greatest teacher was water. Water is the softest, most yielding substance on earth. It has no shape of its own. It is completely adaptable. When a river flows down a mountain and meets a massive boulder, the water does not stop and argue with the stone. It does not tense up. It does not try to violently smash the rock out of the way. It simply flows around it. It finds the path of least resistance. But give it enough time, and that soft, yielding water will cut through the hardest stone on earth. The Grand Canyon was not carved by a hammer. It was carved by patience. It was carved by water. Water always wins, not by forcing, but by flowing. You have spent your entire life trying to be the rock. You have been rigid. You have been inflexible. You have tried to force the world to bend to your specific shape on your specific timeline. And the world is breaking you. Your relationships, your career, your peace of mind, they are all fracturing under the immense pressure of your need for control. You are exhausted because you are fighting the basic laws of the universe. What does Wu Wei look like in the reality of your modern life? It looks like the courage to step back. Think about that relationship you are desperately trying to fix, the one where you are sending paragraphs of text messages, the one where you are analyzing every word, every silence, trying to decode the other person's mind. You are forcing the connection. You are gripping it so tightly that you are suffocating it. Wu Wei says, stop. Take your hands off the wheel. Give it space. If the connection is real, if it has any actual substance, it will naturally flow back to you when the pressure is removed. And if it does not flow back, then it was never yours to begin with. You cannot force a river to flow upstream, and you cannot force a person to choose you. Letting go of them is not a defeat. It is a return to your own sovereign power. Think about your career or your personal goals. You are burning out trying to force a promotion or trying to force a business to succeed by a certain age. You are making desperate, frantic decisions based entirely on fear. You are pulling on the leaves of a plant, hoping it will make the roots grow faster. You will only uproot the plant. You will destroy the very thing you are trying to build. Wu Wei is doing the necessary work, planting the seed, and then having the profound discipline to step away. You control the effort. You do not control the harvest. This is the hardest pill for the modern ego to swallow. The ego is addicted to control. It is terrified of the void. It truly believes that if you stop worrying, if you stop micromanaging every detail of your existence, your entire life will collapse. But be honest with yourself. Has your worrying actually fixed anything? Has your 3 a.m. anxiety ever solved a single tangible problem? Has forcing a situation ever resulted in a genuine, lasting peace? No. It only drained the energy you needed for the following day. It only made you bitter, tired, and deeply resentful of the people around you. The philosopher Alan Watts spent his life translating this Eastern wisdom for the Western mind. He gave us a perfect, simple visual for the anxious, overthinking brain. He said, "When a pool of water is muddy, the only way to make it clear is to leave it alone." Read that again. Let it sink in. When your life is a mess, when your mind is chaotic, your immediate instinct is to jump into the muddy water and try to push the dirt down with your hands. You try to force clarity. You try to wrestle your thoughts into submission. But every single movement you make only stirs up more mud. The harder you try to force peace, the more chaotic your mind becomes. The only way to find the clarity you are so desperately seeking is to stop moving, to stop forcing, to stand on the edge of the water, take a deep breath, and let the dirt settle on its own. This is the medicine you have been avoiding. Are you facing a problem you cannot solve right now? Good. Let it sit. Are you waiting for an answer from someone who refuses to speak? Good. Walk away from the door. Is a situation refusing to yield no matter how hard you push? Good. Stop pushing. This is not giving up. This is a tactical retreat. It is the realization that your interference is actually the obstacle. You are removing yourself from the equation so that the natural order of things can reestablish itself. But it takes a massive amount of internal strength to do this. It is easy to react. It is easy to yell. It is easy to send the angry message. It is easy to keep pushing out of blind panic. It takes a true sovereign to stand still in the middle of a storm and do absolutely nothing. This is the ultimate test of your character. Can you tolerate the discomfort of leaving things unresolved? Can you look at a fractured relationship, a stalled career, or a chaotic situation and simply let it be? You have been conditioned to believe that if you do not fix it immediately, it will fall apart. But some things are meant to fall apart, and your desperate attempts to hold them together are only prolonging your own suffering. When you practice Wu Wei, you are not giving up on your life. You are giving up on your delusions of absolute control. You are surrendering the arrogant belief that you know exactly how the universe should operate. You step back. You observe. You wait for the right moment. When the muddy water finally clears, the right action becomes incredibly obvious. It does not feel like forcing. It does not feel like breaking down a wall. It feels like stepping through an open door. Look at the heaviest burdens you are carrying right now. The resentments, the expectations, the artificial timelines you created in your head. You are the one choosing to carry them. You are the one clenching your fists. You can simply put them down. And this is where the transformation happens. Did someone walk out of your life because you finally stopped chasing them? Good. The river just cleared the dead wood from your path. Did a project collapse the moment you stopped frantically micromanaging it? Good. You just learned that it was never structurally sound to begin with. Are you feeling entirely out of control of what happens tomorrow? Good. You are finally awake to the brutal, beautiful reality of human existence. Every time you stop forcing an outcome, you reclaim a massive amount of internal energy. The chronic exhaustion begins to fade. The crushing anxiety lifts off your chest. You are no longer fighting a war against reality. You realize that the world does not need your constant supervision to spin. The sun will rise, the seasons will change, and the river will flow, whether you try to push the water or not. Your only job is to navigate the current, not to dictate its direction. When you stop trying to be the rigid rock, you stop taking damage. You become fluid. You adapt to whatever obstacle is placed in front of you. If a boulder blocks your path, you do not shatter yourself against it. You move around it, over it, or you simply wait for the water level to rise. This is not weakness. This is the ancient, unbreakable power of yielding. A man who cannot be frustrated by delays, a man who cannot be destroyed by rejection, a man who accepts reality exactly as it unfolds. That man is invincible. He cannot be manipulated because he does not desperately need a specific outcome. He is completely detached from the result. He acts with absolute precision, and then he lets go. He leaves the rest to the Tao, to the natural order of things. This is the secret to a life of profound, unshakable peace. So tonight, when the house is quiet, when you lie in bed and that familiar, terrifying panic tries to rise in your chest, when your mind tries to calculate the next 10 moves, when you feel the overwhelming urge to force a solution before the sun comes up, do not tense up. Do not grip the sheets. Take a deep breath and consciously, deliberately, loosen your grip. You are not the rock anymore. You do not need to fight the current. Let the muddy water settle. Let the locked door remain closed. Let the universe handle the things that are entirely too heavy for you to carry. You have done enough. You have fought long enough. Tonight, you stop swimming against the tide. You lie back, you close your eyes, and you let the river carry you exactly where you need to go. Sleep well. The war is over. This is Core Wisdom. If this video helped you find a moment of peace, subscribe to join us on the journey inward.